Well, speaking of moves on earnings, Alcoa shares are higher after reporting a Q4 earnings beat. Shares are currently up about 1%. Joining us now on a CNBC exclusive is Alcoa CEO William Oplinger. Bill, it's great to have you on. Welcome back to Overtime.
Thanks, Morgan. It's great to be back. Appreciate you having me on.
So you had a beat on the top and bottom lines. You put out your shipment and production guidance for 2025, but in general, a really strong end to 2024. How much of that do you attribute to the broader market and the fact that alumina prices have been strong? How much of that is a reflection of the operations and steps you've taken at Alcoa specifically?
Thanks for the acknowledgement. The fourth quarter was a really, really strong quarter for us. We delivered on our operational targets. We over-delivered on our shipments. We dropped a lot of the good prices to the bottom line in the fourth quarter. But it was really the capstone of a really productive 2024. And so we've had stronger markets as we've gone through 2024, but we've made a lot of good things happen within the company. First of all, in 2024, we did a major acquisition. It was the biggest acquisition we've ever done. We've made some other portfolio moves, and operationally, we're stronger today than where we were a year ago. So really good fourth quarter, great 2024.
And I do want to get a sense of what you're seeing in your end markets. But before we go there, I know we talk about this every time you come on, but your outlook for tariffs, as we do have Trump back in office now, and we have had talk in the last 24, 48 hours about potentially tariffs on Canada, Mexico, China. I know you have U.S. smelters, but you also have a global business.
So still a lot of uncertainty on where the tariff structure will end up. It's important to keep in mind that in the U.S., roughly 2/3 of the aluminum that we consume and make into downstream products is brought in from Canada, specifically Quebec. We've heard in the past from the administration that there's a potential for a 25% tariff from products coming from Canada and Mexico. We think that if that's the case, that there could be significant negative impacts on our consumers. We put the value of that at around $1.5 to $2 billion. But it's important to keep in mind that it appears that the administration is taking their time to get this right. And we're pleased that they're actually spending some time to think through it.
Bill, good to see you. How do you see the fluctuation in China's economy affecting you in 2025?
China is always a big issue for the aluminum market. And it's important to remember that the Chinese have capped their aluminum production at 45 million metric tons. To give you a little bit of background, the Chinese have grown from roughly 10% of the global market to 60% of the global market. So when they cap at 45 million metric tons, that sends a signal to the rest of the world that prices could be stronger in 2025 because of that supply cap. As far as the economy goes, we look at the global demand for aluminum, and we see it being strong. But the big driver is in the rest of the world. We're not banking on the Chinese economy to drive a lot of consumption of aluminum. We see that probably at around 1%, but we see the rest of the world at 3%. It averages out to about a 2% global demand growth. It's important to remember that's the highest demand for aluminum that we've ever seen in history. So overall, the demand for aluminum is strong.
So what does that mean in terms of how that demand is translating across your end markets?
So remember, we have aluminum, alumina, and bauxite. I'll address aluminum. We're seeing strength in packaging. We're seeing strength in electrical conductors. On the automotive side, we're seeing a mixed picture, strength in North America, a little bit of weakness in Europe, and building construction is not back. Building construction is the biggest market for aluminum. It's not back to where we want it to be, but if interest rates were to go lower, we think that could be a potential tailwind for the marketplace.